Right, a teenage girl, a child, was appointed as Kent Youth Police and Crime Commissioner, a job worth £15,000 a year. But she quit the post, and this is to do with what she said on Twitter. She said some things which could be considered racist and homophobic, and she's being interviewed by the cops under caution. The Mail on Sunday said she had boasted about taking drugs and boozing, and she boasted about her sex life on her Twitter account. You know what, though? I'm not really concerned with what this person has said on social media. People say stupid shit on the internet every day, or every hour, or every minute, actually. Yeah, the apology she made was so obviously forced, and I found it cringeworthy, to be honest. Now, Anne Barnes, Police and Crime Commissioner for Kent, has said that this Youth Commissioner post is a practical step aimed at engaging with young people. Why do the police need to employ children, appoint them to these fancy-sounding positions, paying them a tidy salary on the taxpayer, in order to engage with the youth of today? Why? I've not been convinced that this isn't a crap idea by the arguments I've heard so far. I feel I have to question the wisdom of those who've come up with this idea. Some people are calling it a gimmick. It does look gimmicky to me too. I think this Paris Brown person was due to start this job in the summer, actually, so she hadn't taken up the role, but whatever. The whole police and crime commissioner role is a relatively new one, or a new thing. The first incumbents were elected in November of last year, I think. This is part of the government's aim to make the police more accountable to local communities through oversight by a directly elected individual. It's a new thing, as I've said, so we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Yeah. But the youth commissioner thing, it's a thumbs down from me. And you know what? It irritates me. It irritates me when I hear Anne Barnes saying things like, this role, this youth commissioner role, is aimed at reaching out to young people, and young people feel alienated and disconnected from policing. And this post will give young people a voice. Does that sound like utter bollocks to anyone else? I wonder. There are plenty of non-publicity stunt ways that the police could be reaching out to young people. Yeah. When I hear these crappy soundbite comments coming from public figures, I feel patronised. Just as a side note, I've had a couple of run-ins with the so-called community support officers over the past few years, and I have to say, I'm not impressed. I don't find their presence to be reassuring. I think I'd be a bit embarrassed, actually, to have a job like that. Yeah. From observations I've made, I can clearly see some of these kids, these community support officers, they don't know what they're doing. Kids who don't know what they're doing doesn't inspire confidence or respect. Maybe the government and the police need to rethink some of their policies, rethink some of the fundamentals of how best to engage with the public, with local communities. Yeah. Here's a little advice for the police. Why don't you employ a strategy or strategies that aren't based on condescending to people or insulting their intelligence? Anyway, bye-bye.